Welcome back to another loud, chaotic, mildly suspect episode of the Bearded Beer Pod. May's been and gone, the evenings are getting lighter, and the fridge is somehow always empty at the exact wrong moment. Life, eh? It's been a wild month. First up, if you're not already listening to the Rank Rotten podcast, what are you be doing with your life? It's like eavesdropping on two folk rummaging in a charity shop DVD bin and arguing about the worst film ever made. It's an absolute joy. And the best part for me are Cat and Mikey's impressions. They're brilliant. What's been going on? So, Gatekeeper Metal Night for over 30s at the Belle Angele. That was a night and a half. I haven't been in a room that loud since I accidentally wandered into a primary school assembly during an Ofsted inspection. So we had Metallica, Slayer, Pantera, Slipknot, the works. Proper over 30s metal carnage with actual pint glasses. I met two great folk, Cian and Kate, in Bannerman's beforehand. Top people, even if one of them thinks St. Anger is Metallica's best album. I won't name who, but they know who they are. I also squeezed in a battle to Roast Battle Scotland at Monkey Barrel. Absolutely savage, hilarious, and exactly what you need when you've had a pint too many and want to watch grown adults trade insults about each other's faces, jobs, and questionable hairlines. And also teeth to gum ratio. That's another good one that night. If you've never seen a grown man verbally eviscerated for looking like the distorted character concept for a cancelled British sitcom, you're missing out. Glorious, savage nonsense. Highly recommended. And because I clearly don't have a death wish for my own free time, I've launched the Bearded Coffee Rant vlogs on a Friday morning over on YouTube. It's me over caffeinated, moaning about whatever's wound me up before I've even finished my first cup of the day. So far, my obsession for big boy beers and the thing about pint glasses still being a thing is up there, and there are more to come. There's also the Monday vlog that starts on the 2nd of June. That'll be 7 p.m. every Monday on YouTube. So drop in and have a good watch. But now I've succumbed, and I'm afraid it is a word from this month's sponsors. So this episode is proudly brought to you by Barry's Inflatable Garden Sheds. That's right. Are you tired of your boring old wooden shed? Want something you can inflate in minutes and watch confuse your neighbours? Barry's Inflatable Garden Sheds is there for you because nothing says responsible adult like a bouncy palace to keep your trowels in. Available in 3 sizes: small, medium and large. Right, grab a beer, lower your expectations, and let's get on with it. Okay, so I've been looking forward to this double IPA from Lilt-soaked Brewery for a wee while, and Life in the Tropics does not in any way disappoint. It's like a can of Lilt that had an unholy union with Ron Jeremy to make a thick and creamy pineapple and grapefruit dodger. And I gave that 5 out of 5. Oh, next up, fuck me, Polly's Brew. They've gone all curb scene from American History X with their romper stomper of a double IPA, Ghost Voices. It's a serious beast that's just the right side too strong, and I was lucky I didn't end up in a tree. That was also 5 out of 5. Good start to the month. Next up, State of Kind Brew. What have you created? This is called Money Talks, and it's the double IPA equivalent of licking a fiver that's been stuffed down an oily it's been stuffed down an oily stripper. It's been stuffed down an oily stripper's spangly thong. But without King Chuck looking at you and judging you. Sweet Jeebus. Yep, all beer should taste this good. Also, more folk should take heed of their slogan, don't be a dick. Yet another 5 out of 5. Woohoo! Double IPA from Fidens or Fiddens, however you want to pronounce it. I don't know. It's stronger than Andy Complains Comb Over. That's Butcher from AEW, by the way. Stronger than the Comb Over, and something about his chopper. It's dead good. And I hope they do one called The Blade of Buffalo. Chopper means penis, by the way. And I forgot to say what this is called. I think it's called The Butcher, which would make sense because I mentioned Andy from AEW, whose ring name is The Butcher. An alcohol-free blonde from Herd Beer. It was a tad disappointing, to say the least. Go-Go Ginger sounded promising, but smelled like a dusty floor and tasted like weak mango-flavoured water. I was gutted. Sorry, guys. 2.5 out of 5. Oh, yes, beer number 2 from the lovely folk at Brew 61. Spring Meadows Session IPA. It's probably the first grog I've had that actually tastes like the write-up on the label. A wee burpee there. I'll leave that in for naturalness. It's fresh and crisp as a plastic fibre with the perfect amount of fizz to refreshment ratio. Yes. Class in a glass, as I say. 4.25 on Untapped. So it hadn't really been a long, difficult day when I had this. That's what the beer's called. But I rather liked the positive message on the back of the label of the Baron Brewing Pale Ale. It's also an uplifting beer, which is class. Because I really felt I turned a corner in the last few weeks before having that beer. So thanks, Baza. 4.75 on Untapped. Oh yes, I'd promised a 10% triple IPA on the old gram before I had this beer, but I started firing through the last of the few from the Shop of Shame, and I went with a double IPA from Track. It was called Failsafe, and it was sturdier than a bird from the Harbour Lights in Tor Point, and smells better. And it was less sweaty in the gusset area. We used to say, if you can't trap in Harbour Lights, you may as well hang yourself. 4.75 on Untapped. Oh, it was a nice sunny Saturday for this, so you know where I was. And I was really enjoying New England IPA from those Satan Brew Merchants, Bullhouse. It was Dry Hopped Singles Club Strata Edition. That's a mouthful. It was dry but refreshing, and I was kind of regretting not wearing my leather pants. But it was a cracking beer, and no mistake. Don't worry, I wasn't just wearing them randomly, I'll explain shortly. But that was a 5 out of 5. Nice. Next up, I only brought Tiny Rebels West Coast IPA Dude Love because I like wrestling. It's a bit watery, but luckily enough, The Undertaker came and tossed me off. Oh, the cage at Hell in a Cell. I was on the next page of my script, sorry. And that was a 3.75 on Untapped. I'll scroll down, scroll back up. I've made the script on my screen the wrong size, so it just fits on the page and no more. And I'm worried that I run out of space. Anyway, on to the next bit. So, you know those nights that start with a quick pint and somehow spiral into a beautiful, deafening, sweaty mess? Well, this was one of them. I kicked things off with a pint of Joker IPA and Bannerman's, good beer, good tunes, and some lovely company actually. I ended up chatting away with a couple called Cian and Kate, a pair of absolute legends who were visiting up from Wales. They're the kind of people that you meet by chance, and you kind of bond with them really quickly over which era of Iron Maiden's the best. For the record, Somewhere in Time. A couple of pints later, I headed round the corner to La Belle Angele for Gatekeeper. It was the metal night for over 30s. No kids, no TikTok trends, no ironic fancy dress, just a room full of proper metalheads raising their horns to the likes of Metallica, Pantera, Slayer, System of a Down, and a little bit of Slipknot thrown in for good measure. There are no plastic cups. It's brilliant. You got glasses, just like the good Lord intended. The place was pitch black, heavy as hell, absolutely heaving. DJ smashing out the anthems that we grew up on. Every track was a throwback to Dodgy Pube. I need a sip of my coffee before I carry on. Pube duck boxes. What the fuck is that? Oh my god! You can tell it's a Sunday. Where was I? Oh, every track was a throwback to dodgy pub jukeboxes, bedroom posters, and battered denim jackets covered in patches. In fact, I should change that to battered denim J-skits. If you know, you know. No posers, no gimmicks. Just a proper over 30s night where mosh, bang, repeat was the only rule. I lost count of the beers, somewhere between Cowboys from Hell, Wait and Bleed, but who's counting? Left with ringing ears and a voice like sandpaper, and a grin that I wore for about 3 days. Nights like that remind you why you fell in love with metal in the first place. And so welcome to the weekend with an IPA that is blacker than both my sense of humour and my soul. I expected Outland's black IPA to be really, really malty, but it kind of tasted like an old-fashioned pint of heavy. So I was digging it, and I give that 4.5 on Untapped. Well, this is the one. Here it is. My final beer from the Cooperative for Condescension, Blame and Manipulation. And what a beast it was. Shredder, the IPA from Dark Element Brewery, poured like a lava lamp that just got kicked awake and is sharper than rat piss aged in a rusty Stanley knife. It smelled like Uncle Phil rubbed Boursat all over himself after a long day in court. The zenith of craft beer. And that was a 5 on Untapped. And then the next day I went to Dunfermline and got my beard done. And I went to New Monty's, which is different from Old Monty's because it's new. And it was 25 degrees outside, and I enjoyed about 3 or 4 bottles of Jukers. It was like ambrosia. Fabulous. Then I went home, and I had beer number 3 from the lovely folk at Brew 61. It was a session IPA, and it was called Greenfield's Gold. Lighter than John Inman on his feet, and sweeter than a diabetic's blood. Absolutely cracking after such a boiling day, which I spent in the pub. And that was a 4.5 for Untapped. So I got a free Maltsmith's IPA in the Tollbooth Tavern in Edinburgh because they ran out halfway through pouring a pint. Automatic top marks, I think, and it tasted bloody great. Brucey bonus. So yeah, automatic 5 out of 5. I had to have a Dia Brewery and Record Store Day collaboration, despite it being £8 for a can in Salthorse. It was a slightly thin pale ale, but the can art rocked, and I thoroughly enjoyed it as my balls started to unclag themselves from the heat. And I give that a 4 right in the nose. I went to a place that I haven't been to for years, a halfway house in Flesh Market Close, and I took a big swig of Orkney Brewery's Dark Island, which is a dark ale, oddly enough, and I actually said jings without irony. So that about sums it up in a good way, and that was 4.75s. 4.75s? No, just 4.75. So I picked up Desire from Flock, and I totally admit it. I only had it because it's got an artist's impression of my left testicle on the label, and not because it's a double IPA, and I'm kind of addicted to them. It was quite simply one of the best beers I've had in a while. Like a swarthy foreign lover, strong enough to take you roughly, but soft enough to know it still respects you. And that was a 5 out of 5. Beer number 4 from the legends over at Brew 61. They do not disappoint. Grazing Girls is a light ale that's crisper and sharper than a paper cut to the stringy bit under your tongue. And just plain beautiful looking old fashioned pint. And I give that 4.75. Nice. So, given a kind of Black Sabbath vibe with its purple and black label art, overshadowed double IPA from Fiddens, however the fuck you want to say it. It's a right slap in the face with Geezer Butler's bass tone. Looks and pours like pus, tastes just as sharp. Of course I'm in. And that was a 5 out of 5. Oh yes, so I'd had over and over the manhole cover in the wild, a teeny little glass in the hanging bat. So it was time for a full-on can of this romper stomper of a triple IPA. 10%. This beer from Binny Brew is almost medicine-y in taste, but as in Calpol. So good. It's fucking Moorish, and it makes you feel warm, giddy and fuzzy after a 5ml spoonful. Absolute sex pest of a beer that would leave you with a headache, mysteriously sore anus, and your pants on back to front, given half a chance. The first Outland beers can that I haven't really liked. It was a Hell's Lager, and it was watery, bland, and fizzy. Disappointing doesn't really cover it. Sorry, guys. I gave that 2.5. Alright. But on the plus side, I had another beer from Brew 61, and it was terrific yet again. They've all been terrific. It was called Hoppin', and it was a hoppy IPA. Go figure. From the second it hit my glass, the colour was really impressive, and the taste just crisp and summery. Really enjoying the range, so get some in your belly. And I give that 4.75. So, a little while back, I was lucky enough to win the Mash Gang and Bearded Theory Festival giveaway. 2 adult tickets for camping and a stash of Mash Gang drinks waiting at their tent. Yeah, camping. Chaos. And cold cans. Would you be in? Sadly, I couldn't make it to the festival, so Legends at Mash Gang did the next best thing and sent me a massive box of beer to soften the blow. Huge thanks to the team. You absolute heroes. You'll have seen the video on YouTube. If not, why not? You can find out what was in there. Spoiler alert, it was 12 cans of one beer and 12 cans of another beer. I'm not telling you anymore. Go and watch the fucking video. But anyway, cheers, Mash Gang. So, after 12 long years of brewing, Pilot has finally opened their very first bar called Vessel. And of course I had to be there. You can see my vlog on when I went to visit Vessel over on YouTube. Again, if you've not seen it, why not? But yeah, I'll tell you about beers just now. So first drink in Vessel, and it was a cracking IPA, called IPA funnily enough. And it's the right kind of yeasty fizzy. Real pick me up after the yum from Waverley Station, because it was up and over Hanover Street, which was a fucking nightmare. Sort of out, Vessel. That was 4.5 untapped. Yeah, the next one up, it looked like Manky Dishwasher. My microphone's round the wrong way. Is that better? Have I been recording this with the microphone round the wrong way the entire time? Fuck's sake. Oh well. You're just going to have to imagine my lovely voice. Coffee. Yeah, next one up, Vienna Pale Ale. Looks like Manky Dishwasher, but tastes fresh and sweet like me. Another banger from Pilot, and that was 4.5 on Untapped. The next one up might have been called Sea Hops. It might have been Czech Pilsner. I was a bit confused, but it was soft and fresh, lovely Pilsner, and yeah. What? I can't make head or tail of it. Oh, it's because it's for Cohona, Scotland, of course. That's why I said I felt like I should nip to the bog and check my plums. That was 4.25. I can't believe I had the microphone the wrong way around for the entire fucking recording. Oh well. Not letting me phone in. Something I'll talk about not letting me. God. Am I really going to say this? Yes, not like me to finish my blonde. This is an IPA from Pilot. It's sharper and juicier than it should be for a session beer, but it was bloody good. And I had an absolutely fantastic afternoon in Vessel. Big thanks to the guys there. Hashtag Stay Queen. And that was at 4.5. Where did I go? Oh, no, that wasn't the last one I had there. I had a deluxe beer, whatever that is. It's called Anzac. And it was so good. It was so good. It tastes like biscuits. That's all you need to know. We've got gold syrup in there for good measure. It's fantastic. And I give that 5.85. I nipped back round the corner to Salt Horse again, as is my wont. It was Bank Holiday Monday and the town was absolutely dead. But maybe me, I had to make a night of it. I had a left-handed giant tinny. Oh God, I'm making a right pig's ear of this today, aren't I? Never mind. They assisted me with making a night of it with their hazy pale ale opening theme. Bloody brilliant, as you'd expect. The only thing missing is experience of Wayne's running around the tap room, squashed cherry tomatoes on the floor, and Blue's Clues blasting loudly on an iPad. If you know, you know. And there we have it, you beautiful beer-bloated degenerates. Another episode of the Bearded Beer Pod is in the bag. Like a suspicious kebab at closing time. If you made it this far without spilling your pint, arguing about Metallica albums, or Googling what a DIPA is, some people say tippa, but I say DIPA. Fight me. Anyway, congratulations, you're one of us now. And I can't believe I recorded everything up to page 9 of my script with the microphone the wrong way around, like this, not like this. Fucking idiot. Anyway, massive thanks to everyone who tuned in, sent over beer tips, and slid into my DMs this past month with wildly inappropriate stories and photographs. Keep them coming. Keeps me entertained and my parole officer confused. Quick heads up before you bugger off. As mentioned, I finally launched the Monday vlog on YouTube. It drops at 7 PM sharp every week. Expect 5-10 minutes or so of beer-fueled ramblings, nonsense takes, and the kind of opinions that gets you barred from Weatherspoons. And if that's not enough to ruin your working week, remember that the Bearded Coffee Break is now live every Friday at 10 AM. It's me, barely awake, over-caffeinated, and shouting at whatever's wound me up before lunch. Tune in, subscribe, or throw something at the screen. It all counts. Big shout out as well to this month's sponsor, Barry's Inflatable Garden Sheds, because nothing says grown up like a bouncy shack for your travels. Right then, until next time, keep your fridge stocked, your expectations low, and your beer cold. I've been G, you've been Questionable Company. Yeah, it's been an absolute riot. Catch you next month. Cheers, bye.